Hey guys, it's Mix fan here, and this is not exactly a mad Pokemon Showdown battle. It's just a regular battle that I had, and I'm gonna pull it up. It's against Rokete. Sorry, I'm not really good at pronouncing names like this. Anyways, I'm gonna play the replay. Oh, and by the way, he actually beat me the first time, so I had to change my team in order to counter it. As you can see, I'm using Kyurem. Anyways, instant replay. So I lead off with my Skirmory as he leads off with Salamence. This thing fecked me over last time, mainly because of Fire Blast and being Choice Scarfed. So he goes for Fire Blast and it misses, thank God, after I get up my rocks, which means I can set up spikes. Now the funny thing is, it misses again! And here's me thinking, God, I thought I get unlucky with this stuff. But it hits the third time, meaning that Skirmory goes down, but he served his purpose. So now, let's get on to the battle itself. I send out Weavile, who I called Hayabusa, which was actually a Samurai before, so I need to change that to Dragon Slayer. But I take down his Salamence with one Ice Shard. I go for Swords Dance as he sends out Jirachi, and he goes for Fire Punch, but thankfully it doesn't burn me. So he has lefties. I go for Night Slash, and that does a massive amount of damage, but unfortunately it wasn't enough. So here I go into my Alakazam, which has Magic Guard and a Life Orb. I go for Shadow Ball, and that obviously will be a kill whether I had a Life Orb or not. He goes into it. Now this part was kind of him basically taking the piss. And then he was like, Giraffe, blah blah blah. But he goes into Tyranitar, predicting me to go for the Shadow Ball. Really good play on his part. He calls it back and goes into Gliscor, expecting me to go for a Focus Blast, which I did, but it missed anyway, so yeah. Then I go for Psychic, and that doesn't take down Gliscor, but does a massive amount of damage. He goes for Earthquake, and unfortunately that brings me down a lot. He goes for Protect, I go for an Energy Ball, predicting the switch into Tyranitar. So I decide, what the heck, go for another Psychic. He sends out his feckin' Tyranitar! I mean, how typical is that? I always over-predict, that's my problem. But he calls him back and goes into his Deoxys in defense form, predicting me to go for a Focus Blast, which I did, but it missed again! Jesus! He calls it back, predicting me to go for Shadow Ball, which I end up doing. He goes into Tyranitar, who's slowly being weakened by the entry hazards, but he still has lefties, and so considering that he knew he couldn't save Tyranitar, he let him die. He goes into a Bomb of Snow, which turns out to really help me out in this battle, but Alakazam was just meant to die anyways. I go into Scizor, and then I use Bullet Punch, which is the obvious choice. This is Adamant, Max Attack, Max HP. He goes into his Deoxys defense form, and he calls him back and goes into Gliscor. I go for Bullet Punch, but God, that Gliscor is resilient. Predicting another Protect, I decided to actually switch out and use a Hail Pokemon, my Kyurem. Now, just so you know, this guy is like his second day battling on this, so cut him some slack. And no, I'm not a noob. I used Kyurem because I thought, what the heck, didn't use this guy in a while, so yeah, he goes for Protect, and my Blizzard obviously fails, but this time it hits, and yes, as you can see, my Kyurem is Life Orbed. So his Gliscor goes down, and his Deoxys will die to entry hazard, so that'll be the game. Thanks again, Rokete, and I will see you all in my next battle. Goodbye.